So, hi everyone. Today I'll be giving a session on starting your career in automation testing. Okay. So, first of all, I'll introduce myself again. So, hi all. My name is Yash Gupta, and I'm working as a test engineer in Gartner. And I have an extensive experience of more than 4 years, and I'm working there as both manual as well as automation tester. And I have experience in all of the technologies like web API and mobile applications. I have performed both manual and automation testing there. And also in my free time, what I do is I enjoy exploring new technologies and I attend industry events to stay up to date with all the latest developments and the fields. And let's start with the session. Okay. So what is the purpose of the session? So the purpose of the session is that I will be providing a guide of how you can start your career in automation testing. As you all know, as we are moving towards more towards machine learning and artificial intelligence, manual testing will not be as prevalent as it is today. And so we need to upskill ourselves into a more automation challenges, and we should tackle those because in the latest industries going forward, automation testing will be more prevalent and will be required by many of the bigger companies. So taking considering that into the option, we need to upskill ourselves and transition ourselves from a non-technical background or in a manual testing job to an automation testing job. Okay, so I will be providing you tips to build a strong resume, how you can build a strong network, how you can prepare yourself for the interviews and other things. So I will be giving you a comprehensive guide on all of these things, and I'm excited to give you all the session on the same. So before going towards how you can start your career in automation testing, so for those who aren't familiar with automation testing, so what automation testing is that we automate certain uh, repetitive tasks in the testing industry. So what we do, we create the test cases in the manual form, and then what we do, we either use a programming language or we use a automation tool so that we can automate those repetitive test cases, and these repetitive test cases can be run on a any type of application, whether it could be a web application, it is a API application, or it is a mobile application. Okay, so here what we do is we streamline the test process and we improve the efficiency and increase the test coverage. Okay, so why are we doing automation testing? So automation testing provides very huge number of benefits to the industries, and it gives massive advantage where we have a very large number of applications. Okay, where we are performing the same number of test cases, same level of test cases again and again. So where automation testing helps is that when we are running those test cases, it helps reducing the cost and the time, and also the manual effort of running the test case again and again manually. Through the automation testing, what we can do, we can just leave those test cases running by themselves, and at the end of the scripts we can see that how much percentage has been passed or failed. And till that time, the tester can work on other projects or other priorities rather than focusing on those repetitive tasks. Okay, so automation testing also improves the productivity because it is a faster execution than manual testing. And also as humans are tend to do mistakes, even though if they are doing it again and again, where but automation testing, if once it is perfected, then it will not be doing any mistakes as it is done by a machine. So there also we have a better advantage in automation testing. So pros and cons of automation testing. So even though automation testing helps in various areas, still there are some cons and pros for automation testing, as it is for every other thing in this world. So let's get to the pros. So first pro is that it is highly required in large scale software. So as I said, the industries where we are working on very big softwares, where there are multiple modules and multiple test cases are needed to be performed, the automation testing helps in running those large number of test cases in very small amount of time. So in large industries, what we do whenever we are adding new features into the software, we perform a regression testing. So what testing does is that we ensure that all the other things that are being not being like modified with the application are working as expected by adding that particular new feature. So instead of we are doing all of those things manually where we are regression testing the whole application, we can give that and rely on automation testing, and that automation framework will be able to test that particular application in the regression mode. Okay. So second point is that it is very cost effective when compared to manual testing. So when we are working with large scale software and when we accommodate automation testing, it becomes very cost effective when we are using manual testing. Why it is that? Because in manual testing we are also using manual power of humans, and we are giving salaries to humans. So what automation testing does, it reduces the overall effort and time of testing that particular software, and till that time another person, the tester, can perform any other task or any other priority work. So it also saves the cost of the company. Okay. Third point is that it covers other aspects of testing other than functional testing. So there, if you guys know that there are two types of testing. First is functional and second is non-functional testing. So in non-functional functional testing, what we do, we test the other aspects of the web application or any other application, such as we do the load testing, we check the performance of it, we check the security of it. So all of these things can be done with the help of automation testing also, whereas with manual testing it becomes very difficult to perform those uh, types of testing, where with automation testing it is very relatively easier. Okay. Automation testing covers a wider area of test cases and scenarios. So as we know that automation testing can do many test cases in a very short amount of time. So with the help of that, we can cover wider areas of test cases, and we can also cover the wider areas of test scenarios. Now we come to cost. Cost is that high initial investment. In the automation testing, there is a very high investment that is being done during the initial process of the automation framework. So in the automation framework, what we do, we create a framework so that it is suitable for all types of testing, whereas it is web application, API, or mobile. So whenever we are creating a framework, it takes a lot of time and effort while making that automation framework so that it will pay off in the later stages of the application testing. Okay. So that is why the automation testing considers very high initial investments, but considering the large scale of the software, it will later pay to the company back by saving the cost and the time. Okay. Second con is that it is not suitable for smaller projects, as the uh, investment of the automation testing is very high. So that is why it is not recommended that we are using it for the smaller projects where we can do the manual testing and we can save many amount of time by not creating the automation framework. It only comes help whenever we are doing it in large applications where it will later pay off while we are doing the regression testing. Okay. Fixed scope. So by as automation testing does not have brains of its own, so there is a very fixed scope that the automation testing can cover. For example, if there are any corner cases that I want to perform on the particular application, and it is not programmed in the automation testing, then it will not be able to perform that particular type of testing. Then we would certainly be needing some manual effort in that. Also, there are some particular test cases that are not possible in automation testing. For example, we should be seeing some captchas are there in particular applications, and if those captchas are added into the testing environment also, then that captcha won't be able to be automated in the automation testing. Then also, in this case also, we would be requiring manual effort. Okay. The last one is that skills requirement. So automation testing does need some skills requirement by the associate so that he will be able to create a framework and work on the automation testing. So what are these skills that I will discuss in the later slides? Okay. Automation testing tools. So these are some of the popular testing tools that I want to brief you out before we get into the starting the career in automation testing. Okay. So first is the Selenium. So Selenium is the most popular automation tool that is being used in nowadays, and it covers mostly all of the programming languages such as Java, Python, C hash, and Ruby, and it can be used for performing the testing on web applications as well as the API side of the things also can be covered with the help of Selenium. Okay. Second is the JMeter. So what JMeter is that when we are doing some non-functional testing on a particular application, we take help of automation tools such as JMeter. So JMeter covers the non-functional sides of the testing, where we can do the load testing and the performance testing of different type of applications. And the very good thing about JMeter that it also can be used to test the API side of the things as and also the backend such as the database side of the things also. So we can test both API and database also with the help of JMeter as well as the web applications. Okay. Third is the APM. So APM is used when we are trying to automate the mobile applications for iOS and Android. Okay, as you know that iOS and Android are the most relevant platforms that we are using today, operating systems. So APM is an open source automation testing tool that can be used to automate both operating systems. Okay, then then the last is Postman. So Postman is an API testing tool where we can use it to manually test out, and also we can write the scripts to do the automation testing of the APIs and web services. So Postman covers a lot types of the API services such as JSON, REST APIs, HTML. All of these things are covered in the Postman. Okay. So coming to prerequisites of automation testing. So before starting your career in the automation testing, make sure that you check all of these boxes before you are getting through the automation testing. First is the programming skills. So automation testing requires proficient in one of the in at least one of the programming languages. So some of the commonly used programming language that we are using in automation testing is Python, Java, C hash, and Ruby. Okay, so we should have a strong grasp of programming concepts such as variables, loops, conditions, functions, and object-oriented programming language, as these concepts are hugely used in the automation framework while we are writing the scripts for the web applications. Okay. Then we need to have a understanding of manual testing. So before moving towards the automation testing, it is highly advisable that you should know how to do the manual testing, because without doing the manual testing, you will not have a testing mindset, and you will not be able to write the automation scripts for the same. So before diving into automation testing, it is essential to have a solid understanding of manual testing principles and methodologies. And we should also have some knowledge of test case design, test execution, defect reporting, and overall testing concepts. Okay, knowledge of testing tools and framework. So before on starting for automation testing, why I introduced with those testing tools, because it is a basic thing that we should know what all the automation testing tools that we are using in our automation testing. So some of the tools that we are using I have already introduced in your previous slide, but I can again give you, like Selenium WebDriver, APM, Test Complete, JUnit, JMeter, and TestNG and Cucumber. So these are some of the crucial testing tools that we are using in our framework, and one should have knowledge on at least some of these testing tools. Okay. Now comes to analytic and programming solving skills. So as we are creating automation scripts for the testing process, so there will be some errors into the scripts, and we would have need to have some analytical and problem solving skills to fix those problems that we get into these scripts. So automation testers need to be able to analyze the requirements, also identify test scenarios, and design the effective test cases. Okay, strong analytical and problem solving skills are necessary, so that we can, what we can do, we can troubleshoot the issues, we can debug those whatever the issues that we are getting into the automation scripts. And also if there are any issues that we are getting while performing the test cases, then we can find the root cause as to why we are getting those issues. Okay, so that is why we need some analytical skills into the before starting with the automation testing. Now comes to familiarity with agile methodologies. As most of the companies are nowadays moving from waterfall model to the agile methodology, we one should definitely have some familiarity with the agile methodologies, so that he can proceed with the overall process of how we can automate a particular test. So agile methodology is a process oriented method where we are, the whole software development is being taken place. So when we are accommodating automation testing, the best methodology that we can use is agile, and one should definitely have some knowledge for the same. Okay, then comes the version control systems. So what are version control systems? As you may have heard, for software such as GitHub, these are called the version control systems. So why we are using? Because we are uploading this automation scripts into the cloud, and we are maintaining the repositories where we can commit the code, and we can also download the code. So we definitely should have some knowledge on the tools such as version control system, so that we can collaborate with other team members, and we can work together on the same test cases or same uh, automation testing framework. Okay, so skills and qualifications required. So these are the skills or qualifications that you would be required for automation testing. As per the qualification, there are no mandatory qualifications that are required, but most of the companies are at least keeping one technical background, such as BCA, MCA, BTech, MTech, BSc. So like these, we should have a degree in a technical background, so that it will be easier for us to approach companies before starting into the automation testing. Okay, so these are some of the skills that are required while we are going through with the automation testing. First is strong testing fundamentals. So as I discussed in the previous slide, we should have some basic understanding of how manual testing works, how we do the testing principles, methodologies, and the best practices around the testing environment. Okay, so so that what we can do before starting with the automation testing, we can understand the particular application where we are doing the testing, and we can know how as to how we'll perform the testing, whether it is a manual testing or an automation testing. Okay, now comes the automation testing tools and framework. So as I said in the previous slide, this also, so we should definitely have some understanding of the tools and frameworks, whatever are being currently used in the automation testing. So one should definitely have some knowledge on the most popular ones, so that it will be easier for you to be selected into your desired company. Okay, debugging and troubleshooting. So as we are working on automation testing, there will be a lot of issues into the programming of the particular automation script. So we should have some debugging and troubleshooting techniques or skills, so that we can easily identify and find the root cause of the particular issue, as to how we are getting and why, how we can eradicate that particular issue. Also, where it is, this is the most important, is that whenever we are coming to a new company and we are working on an existing automation framework that is being created by someone else. So you should have a particular basic debugging and troubleshooting skills, so that you can know how this particular automation framework is being used in some new company that you are uh, joining. Okay. So version controlling system is already I've discussed. So there are certain softwares that are being used for controlling the versions of the code that we are uploading. So one should have a basic understanding of all of those things. Okay. Then there are comes the web technologies. So before starting with the automation testing, we should have a basic understanding of how the web technologies work behind the scene and in the user interface also, so that we can easily do the automation testing on it. As maybe some of you know, we need while doing the automation testing on web applications, we need to abstract some of the basic details such as the location of a particular button or the particular locator that we have. Also we are using the console tab in the web browser. So we can do these things when only when we are having a basic understanding of how web technologies are working for a particular web application. Okay. Test design and test case development. So this is one of the most important skill that one should have, because the mindset of creating a automation script and for creating a manual test case is very similar within each other, because both identifies how we will be approaching the testing of a web application or any kind of application. So that comes only when you know how we can design a test case and how we can develop a particular test case. Okay. So when you will having these skills, you will easily be able to do the automation testing also. Okay. Last is the excellent reporting, time management, analytical and communication capabilities. So while when we are doing the automation testing, we have to inform, and we have to also do the reporting to the other team members such as the development team or the product manager team, so that they will know that how this particular application is working towards the automation testing. So you should have a good communication skills. Also you should have a excellent reporting skills uh, for doing the automation testing, so that you will be able to communicate the same to the other team members also, who are not very familiar with the whole concept of automation testing. Okay. So after skills and qualifications, we'll be seeing how we can build a resume so that it will be very easy to be selected into a desired company. As most of you know that nowadays companies are using automation in the resume selection also. So they that particular they are using specific tools that will sort out all the resumes that are you know capable for the particular job application. Okay. So it is very important, so that you will understand and uh, apply these tips into your resume also, so that it will be easy for that particular tool to understand and sort out the uh, resume into the HR. Okay. So first is highlight relevant work experience. So if you're moving from manual testing to automation testing, be sure that you highlight your relevant work experience in manual testing also, so that the particular person will have a basic understanding as to how much you know about the manual testing approach. As I said that we definitely need some manual testing concepts, so that we can transition ourselves from manual testing to automation testing. So this is very much required, so that you can highlight whatever the tools and technologies you have used, and also you can know how as to how you will test the particular application. Okay. Showcase automation testing skills. So before going towards resume making, make sure that you have certain automation testing skills that I have mentioned in the previous slides, and you should definitely mention those particular testing skills into your resume. Create a specific, create a dedicated section where you will be mentioning all of those skills, and also highlight them by marking them as bold, or what you can do if you are trying to create a very graphically entertained resume, you can also use logos, so that that will be a highlighting feature of the resume. So you can add those particular skills and tools and technologies that you are familiar of, and then you can also add the programming language and the scripting language that you are familiar with for using the automation testing. Okay, include relevant certification. So all before going to the automation testing, it is very much recommended that you do some certifications, but only from the renowned companies such as ISTQB or Selenium WebDriver, so that they will get to know that this person is capable of doing automation testing, as and he has been certified by this renowned organization, and that will help you boost up your resume and give some weightage onto it. Okay, tailor for each job application. uh, you might be knowing that each job application is very different from one another. So instead of sending the same resume to all of those different applications, what I would suggest is that you should definitely go through the whole job application, read out the description as to what they are expecting from you, and then you will collaborate all of those points and make sure that you create a resume taking those particular descriptions in mind, so that it will be aligned with all the job requirements that are mentioned there. Okay, what it does, that it makes it easier for the person who is assigning for the job application to sort out the resume, and he will pass out your resume also for the interview rounds. Okay, technical skills for automation testing. So you should definitely add certain technical skills for the automation testing also, such as Maven, Git, dbeaver, uh, Linux for Toad, etc. So what are all the things that you are using in your for tools and technology that are using for automation testing? You should definitely highlight them and add them in a specific separate section where you are highlighting your technical skills. Okay, include personal projects. So when you are transitioning from manual testing to automation testing, or a non-technical background to automation testing, so before starting your career, you should definitely create some personal projects of your own. You can take help from GitHub or YouTube. You can see the videos as to how in the industries we are making the automation scripts and frameworks, and you can create your own personal projects where you are highlighting the automation frameworks, or you are giving some automation blogs where you are explaining certain things that are not very there in the web, and you can introduce them into your resume, so that the person who is looking at your resume will know that this particular person is very knowledgeable, and also he has personal projects where he has worked on the automation frameworks, and he is not just having a theoretical knowledge on automation testing, he is also practically experienced with it. Okay, mention agile methodology experience. So as I said, that agile is very much important in the automation testing, so definitely mention that one also, that which automation and which agile environment you are working on. It could be Scrum, it could be Kanban, it could be Turtle, it could be anything else. So specify them, and that will let them know that you are capable of working in an agile methodology, and you are familiar with the concept. Okay, describe automation testing projects. So if you have worked on some certain automation projects before, so definitely describe them in a brief as to what was your role into that project, what are the things that you have achieved in that particular projects, and you can also highlight some of the quantitative achievements that you have done. For example, you can say that I have automated these many test cases in the particular web application, I have accommodated these tools into the automation framework. And also due to this automation testing, these many bugs has been identified and solved into the application. Like this, you can highlight, and you should also give the numbers as to how much test cases, how many defects, how many things that you have done into the automation testing. Okay. Yeah. So after building your resume, and you will be able to create a good resume uh, which is suitable for your automation testing career, we'll be proceeding to the finding your first automation testing job. So for first point is that you should have a strong network around yourself. So what you can do, you can join certain platforms such as LinkedIn, Naukri, Glassdoor, etc. And you can add industry leaders into the platform, and you can check out their post, how they are doing their things in the job, and what the tools and technologies are there, and be updated with all of those things related to the automation testing. Also in the platforms such as Naukri and Indeed, Glassdoor, etc., you can uncover some job opportunities related to automation testing. Read out the job description, and be prepare yourself with all the topics that are covered into those job applications. Okay. Second is that research the job market. So conduct a thorough research on the platforms that I have mentioned. And you can also go to the company forums and industry forums and company websites to identify the organizations that are hiring for automation testers, especially for freshers or the people who are transitioning from non-technical background to a automation testing background. Okay. Keep yourself updated with all the job opportunities, and also be active in these certain websites and job portals. Okay. Third is prepare for interviews. Okay. So you can research the common topics that are being introduced into the job description, and you can start preparing for the interviews, and also write all of those things that you will be answering into the interview. What writing does is that you will be within seconds, you will be able to remember what all the things that you have you know understood and taught yourself, and then you can say the same into the interview. So that reflects the confidence that you will be giving into the interviews, and the person will know that he has a good command in understanding the concepts of the automation testing. Okay. Be ready to discuss experience with automation tools, frameworks, and problem solving approach. So all of those things that I have introduced in the previous slides, be ready, and be in command of all of those tools, technologies, skills, and the problem solving approach that you will be having. Okay. Fourth is leverage online job platforms. So, you have to active in the online job platforms such as Naukri, Glassdoor, and you have to, search through all of those testing job openings. Okay. Create a good profile where you will be highlighting amongst other people that trying to search for jobs, and keep updating your profile so that the most recently updated profile shows on the top in the platform such as Naukri or Glassdoor. So that will help you, be visible when people or HRs are searching for the candidates that are good for automation testing. Be open to internship and freelance work. So if there are certain applications which require some sort of experience in automation testing. So what you can do in that, you can apply to some internships, or you can do the freelance work, where you will there won't be much higher pay, or there won't be much satisfying pay, but you will definitely get valuable experience, that how we are doing the automation testing in the industries, and that particular experience you can take up, and use it to apply for a full-time experience job. Okay. Continuous learning and upskilling. This is the most important point whenever, and it does not like restrict to automation testing whenever you are starting yourself in automation testing. You need to have a mindset of continuous learning and upskilling, so that you will be able to know what all the latest tools and technologies are being currently used in the automation testing, and you can stay updated, and you can enhance your certain skill set in those particular technologies. And you can so that because the good companies are taking all the latest technologies, and you will be able to get through the interviews when you are covering yourself with the latest trends and technologies. Okay, be proactive. So you should be very proactive whenever you are searching for the job. You have to keep following up on the applications. Whenever the interview is being connected, you should ask the HR that what all the topics will be discussed there. Ask them for a job description in your mail or through WhatsApp or some other platforms, so that you will be good with your preparation as to what they will ask uh, in your job interview. And then you can prepare beforehand also. Okay. And at the last, I would say that learning mindset is the most important. Okay, whenever, if you are keep learning in these times, whenever you are transitioning from automation testing, you will definitely land a good job. Okay, and you will be able to get yourself a good automation testing job. Okay.